We've been talking about all the issues and races for months now. It's time to say how we think it's going to go 4 days from now. What's the surprise of the night? David, we'll start with you. We'll just go with that question. What's the surprise 4 days from now?
If we're going to guess on something happening, which I think consensus indicates won't, but might, then I would say Amendment 74, the property rights thing passing. And my main reason for saying that is Governor Hickenlooper wrote an op-ed for the Denver Post opposing it. And that is kind of a sign to me that whatever polls the Dems are running internally indicate that this is something that still has a shot.
So, Eric, we're going to be here on election night. Just as a good reminder for you, election night coverage is going to be right here from this very table in this very studio. Patty, David, Eric, and Natasha Gardner are going to join us from 8 to 10 o'clock on election night. What do you think will be likely the biggest surprise or the headline that will draw from that night's coverage?
Well, maybe you ought to have somebody around this table right now doing punditry who actually called it right in 2016, because we're asking our viewers to listen to a bunch of people and a bunch of pundits who got it completely wrong. That said, I think it will be the magnitude of the Democratic wave across Colorado. I would guess that the Democrats run the table, that they finally get Mike Coffman, which has not happened in other elections when they had high hopes and poor performance, that Jared Polis wins by a healthy margin, and that they sweep the down ballot races. Phil Weiser, no matter how attractive a candidate George Brockler may be, that Wayne Williams, despite being a very capable Secretary of State, goes down in the wave, State Treasurer's office as well, that it's just a wave election, and that the only thing that really matters on that ballot is the initial after your name, and people are voting D's versus R's, and this year they're voting for blue D's.
Susan, as you're writing frantically, all the different headlines can be coloradoindependent.com on election night. What are the headlines that you think would be the most surprising?
I would say Crow in CD6 and the potential ouster of Mike Coffman, finally. I mean, Democrats have put up some very good candidates in that district, and Mike Coffman is like the weeble who doesn't, fall down. But I agree with Eric in this wave. Number one, that's possible because of the wave itself, and I think that Crow has run a very good campaign. I think also the Wayne Williams, the Secretary of State race, is interesting to watch only because he's a fairly non-controversial Secretary of State incumbent, fairly well liked, and he has been vastly out-campaigned and outspent by Jenna Griswold. So I would, and who, by the way, I have to say is the only woman on a sort of high-profile statewide ticket, and I think there are women in this state who are disappointed in the primaries, who disappointed that there's not a woman to vote for governor, and will be very much supporting her on Tuesday.
Patty, we don't worry about accuracy of predictions around here.
Well, that's good if I'm going to answer this.
Yeah, so if we worry about that for the last 26 years, we would not be on the air. But what do you think will be the most surprising headline we talk about 4 days from now at this very table?
Well, I think the most surprising headlines are going to be the ones that won't be written 4 days from now, because some of these are going to be very close races. And I'm thinking especially when you get to some of these ballot measures, we are still going to be counting and recounting. And you can imagine if there's anything remotely close on 112 and 74, there's going to be recount after recount. It's true that the fact that Hickenlooper, who had been fairly silent on 74, is now coming out strongly against it. And it is, as I said, the most cynical doomsday device that was created by oil and gas to attack 112. But it's late to be coming out. So I think in the next 4 days, what we're going to see is an incredible get out the unvoted vote. Right now, if we've got 1/3 of registered voters, people who really want to defeat certain things or push certain things right now, they have to make sure they get more people out voting. And that's what we're going to see over the next 4 days. But I think we will be sitting here at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night not knowing a lot of answers.